All right, now that you have your images downloaded, let's go ahead and get started on our project. The first thing we need to do is set up our canvas. So we can go up to File, select New, or you can use the keyboard shortcut, which is Command or Control and the letter N. And we're going to make it 12 inches by 8 inches. And we also want to make sure that the resolution is set to 300, which will match the images that we downloaded. All right, let's go ahead and bring in our first image, which is the main scene for this project. And I'm going to grab this image here. I'm going to go ahead and resize this to fill in the canvas. And in order to do that, to keep the image in proportion and to keep it centered, what I'm going to do is hold down my Shift key and my Alt or Option key. I'm going to click on a corner and drag out to resize. I'm also going to right click on this and select Flip Horizontal, and that's going to flip the horizon from one side to the other. And I'm going to also move this to the right just a little bit because I want the trail going from left to right because our shadow monster is going to be over here and our model is going to be down here looking at the shadow monster. All right, so once you're done with resizing, go ahead and hit Enter or Return to commit to that size and placement, and that's the first step. All right, now that we have the image placed, we need to start colorizing the image to kind of give it a more of a cinematic look. All right, so let me show you what I mean by that. If we take a look at some of the Stranger Things scenes, we can kind of get a feel for the colors used throughout the show. There's lots of blues, but there's also lots of reds and oranges as well. And as you know, if you've gone through the cinematic project of this course, you already know how different colors can create different moods based on that color scheme. And you're already familiar with the color wheel as well. And you know that complementary colors used together can create some very compelling images. And if we slide over to blue, we can see that the complementary colors are reds and oranges. And that's what we're seeing in Stranger Things. Let me see if I can find the main poster for Season 2. Maybe I passed it already. It's this one here, but this one doesn't show the whole image. But we can see the shadow monster here in the clouds, and there's a lot of red and orange. There's a lot more blue in this area, but if we look at the grass, we have some reds, yellows, and greens in here. So that's basically what we're going to do with our particular image as well. Because this image was shot at sunset, we already have some yellows, greens, and oranges in here. But I want to increase this more by adding more red because the clouds and the coloring that we're going to do for the clouds is very intense. And if you think about it, the lighting from those clouds are going to be cast across our field. So our fields should be much more red than they currently are now. So we're going to add a couple of different adjustment layers in order to colorize our scene. All right, so let's go ahead and add our first one, which is hue and saturation. All right, so in order to change our colors, we're going to use our hue slider, and we're also going to select individual color channels in order to make those changes. So the main colors in our field right here is yellows and greens. So we're going to go ahead and select yellows for the first one, and we're going to drop this down to around -12. And if we turn this on and off, we can see we're already adding more warmth to the field. But this section over here isn't being affected, and that's because there's more green on this side of the field versus this side. So that's why we have to select green as well. It's going to make some adjustments in here as well, but mostly over here on this side. And we also need to drop this one down a lot more. I'm going to go around -80 to -90. And that's going to give us the nice red color in that area. All right, so we can see it's much more yellow versus the green that it was before. You can increase this more if you want to change it to be more red. All right, so the next step is to add a little bit of contrast, and we're going to add a curves adjustment. And we're going to drop this down to right about there. Because this is going to be more of a night scene, I need to match our sky in our field so that it looks like it's more at nighttime. Right now, this is more daylight. Even though this was shot at sunset, there's still a lot of light on the field, and I want to darken it up to match the overall scene that we're going to complete. All right, so that's it for the first part of the project. The actual scene is pretty much done. So what we're going to do in the next video is work on our sky. We're going to add our clouds and colorize the clouds as well. All right, so if you're ready to do that, let's do it.